Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to the Bonsai Retreat. In this second update, we're going to be looking at a few things with the Chinese Elm Cascade. A little bit of work I had to do with my Japanese white pine, my Jade, which was the first that my wife, bless her, had, and also this lovely herb bonsai, my sage. Well, I'm glad I filmed this update because I made an amazing discovery. I forgot just how much growth Chinese elm can put on at this stage of the this time of the year. And as you know, this is my first proper cascade attempt, and I don't remember it looking like this a couple of weeks ago, although again I've been off with my toe. I mean, this is just beyond belief, but as you can imagine, I put a lot of wire on this tree. Thankfully it's a Chinese elm, it'll be alright. I think it's cork bark as well. It won't surprise you to know that I've got some definite wire dig. But go on, that is pretty impressive. I'm absolutely stoked with that. So I'm going to get the wire off now. Gosh, there's so much growth. I'm sure it wasn't like this a minute. Let's see if we can see down here and see just. Let's get our man away. There's someone who I did a video about wire scar on my maple, and I was surprised actually. Someone said, "Oh gosh, you know, I was doing it for clickbait because you know, it was really wrong of me to have forgotten the tree, so I must have done it on purpose." And you know, it's so easy to do. Even I didn't expect there to be the sort of growth we've had, which is silly really, because I turn around and say that this time of the year is when the tree will often put on loads of growth, which is why we wire at this time of the year. Not sure if you can see in here. Scar there. I mean, as I say, this is cork bark. I'm not worried at all. Just a little bit annoyed with myself. I think the main thing is it's holding the position that I wanted. We've got some marking there, and there you can see that's probably about 2 or 3 millimeters deep going in. But it's a reminder that was an old wire scar. And the way that heals is just lovely with the old bark. It doesn't worry me at all. I'm so pleased with this. And again, as I said to you, I didn't want to go wiring on this, but initially I had to set the shape. Now this has sprung up a little bit, but if you look there, I mean, I think you've still got a wonderful, wonderful cascade. Here, as I said, we've got the twin, so I kept this second one with this one. There's loads up here to build the new apex, and I'm definitely going to be doing it all using clip and grow. May take a bit longer, but well, with the way Chinese elm work and the way they bud out, I mean, this is an incredible amount of growth. It should be very easy to establish a decent cascade structure. Now, can I prune now? And the answer is yeah, of course you can. Now's a great time to cut these back. Or is it? Remember, this has been potted up for the first time. I'm trying to establish a shape. And I think the big thing I said in my last video was I wanted to establish a strong, good root system to hold this. I want this trunk to get bigger. I'm going to cut none of this. I'm going to let it go through and have a look at it in the spring. Probably sometime around, I'm going to let it go absolutely wild, and then we're going to have fun absolutely taking this right back to a secondary structure really. The main primary branch is obviously the cascade itself, and it may be that I'll look to. In fact, I may do that. I may put a guy of some sort, because everyone knows I seem to have this issue not using guys. But I'm determined 2024 is all about guy wires and ties and stuff like that, rather than the wiring. But I'll definitely find a way to probably hold that cascade down further. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that that cascade bend needs to be even sharper and deeper, or I can work with what I've got there? Let me know in the comments. Anyway. Now, there is something else I'm going to show you, which I don't know whether it's actually featured. Well, it has. It's featured indirectly. And that's Zita's Jade, which I know I don't talk about. Now, back in 2016, I think, 2015, 2016, my wife Zita, bless her, was, we were out shopping at B&Q or something, and she said to me, you know what, I've never had a bonsai. I found this Jade in the bargain sections, no one wanted it, and it was £5, and I said to her, tell you what, let's take this Jade and see if we can make it a really nice bonsai. Hopefully there's some pictures coming up, because I know I took some. This thing did everything apart from trying to become a decent bonsai. I've got cobwebby, look, I've got cobwebby fingers. To be fair, earlier this year I'd pretty well given up on it. But I've persevered, and I'm determined to make it into a decent shape. It had loads of branches, as you've probably seen out from the photo. But what I've reduced it to is I just wanted to have, well really I just want this main trunk. And finally we've got this. Now what I can do now is a little bit of cleaning up. Everything is going to grow on this line. I don't know whether I'll keep this, but at the moment I quite like it. So we're now going to get rid of that. Just clean up this one here. Clean up that old branch scar there. There it is there. Now looking at this, I've actually got an opportunity here where we've got 1, 2, 3. I could actually take this middle one off, but my intention with this one is to continue to grow this single branch up. I'm not really bothered about that, and I just want to get more and more health into this root system. I don't need to do any more mucking about with it, and what I want to try and achieve is a really nice, if I can, formal upright, but definitely a straightish informal upright. If this has told me anything at all, never ever give up, because this one very nearly beat me. And now I think there's a way forward. But yeah, so that is actually Zita's jade tree. God rest her soul. Quite a while ago I talked about my Japanese white pine, and you saw me wire up my really big one, and really happy with how that's looking. And I said at the time I was going to have to do this one next. Well, what are we now? 6 weeks later? 7 weeks later? And as you can see, wire hasn't touched this tree. It's only when you buy a tree and you look at it, you know, 6, 7 months later, a year later, you think, maybe I could have been a bit more selective. A little better prepared. But what I'm going to do is try and bring some of these around and just see how it looks. You don't need to see me do the wire, but this is an update, so we'll show it once I've got the changes made. With wiring, there's always a little bit more you have to do, but this thing is getting wired up nicely. So we've formed this one here. We've got something on the back here. It's very difficult because you see everything is on the back half of this, and I'm not willing to make any big chops at the moment, so it's just about trying to bring stuff around. So those pads are pointing up, and it's just looking at this back part here. Well, hopefully you can see there we've got this lower pad structure put in place. I think it's an awful lot better than it was. I'm going to finish off the rest. I'm not going to go to town on the top, but I wanted to get these bottom ones mainly. I'll come back to you. Okay, well it's definitely a long way from perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. At least we've got some pad direction, shape, separation. I've removed a couple of little branches, and there's some key areas where clearly you can see that I'm going to have to cut back further. We're looking here particularly, this will probably get removed. I'll have to look up here and around here. I haven't done too much with that. What I have tried to do is just gain some separation on these ones. This one here, this may get removed, but I'm happy there now. At least we've got these coming up. And this one here again coming out. Maybe the answer might be to wire this one down more. Did a little bit of cutting on that, so this is one of those cases where it's definitely later than I should have done it. No big branches or anything like that, so it won't be an issue, but this one will definitely get probably cold frame, and at least that way we'll just reduce the risk of some lower temperatures causing any issues, but truthfully it should be fine. But lots of healthy needles and future buds on that next year, and we'll see how it gets on. Now I know not that many of you watched the sage video, but I'm determined to have a parsley, sage, rosemary and thyme bonsai. This is my sage, and it's still going strong. It still hasn't fused there, and there was lots of advice about stuff I could remove, but I think what I'm going to say to you now is that sage bonsai, it's on its way to being a bonsai, is looking pretty healthy, and I'm definitely going to have some fun with it next year. But I definitely need to sort my rosemary out. Definitely got a rosemary out there I want to play with next year. Now, one of the other updates I'm sure you're curious about was the collaboration that I did with Candice of Bonsai Science and Jason Hanrahan in the Bonsai Garden. that was the conversion of one great monster 4-foot juniper into 3 monster junipers. We're probably getting on for nearly a year since that was done, and we've even got some growth, but probably not enough to do anything with. Lovely juvenile growth there, and that's really doing well. Then we've got the little smaller one here. Again, lots of juvenile growth and quite a lot up the top there. And then the monster that I'm sure Jason said to me the best place for it was the bonfire this year. You know, it's going to be a challenging one, and that was part of the whole project. But we've got lots of growth. High up, granted. Yeah, so did they die? No. Are they still a challenge? Most definitely. And just amazing to see some of the colours now starting to show up in the Bonsai Retreat this autumn. We've got the yellows coming on the Dawn Redwood, so going to be getting near doing some work on those. This Yamadori Hornbeam, which I actually haven't worked on again this year either. That's now all crinkled up autumn leaves, as is that maple that was an air layer. Stayed healthy, but I'll have to work out what to do with it. And we've got Susan's Wildwood. That's got a mixture of greens and an autumn colour. A hornbeam, Korean hornbeam. That's all yellowed off now. But that has done very well, bearing in mind I did that repot on it early on the year, and there really weren't a lot of roots on it. Very happy with how that is. I think what I do find interesting about autumnal colour change is that it's not the same. You can go to another oak tree and they're all still very much green. Notice the larches, they're starting to go as well. Got that lovely yellow needles coming up. They'll all fall off soon enough, I'd imagine, and I'll be able to have a look at those. Little maple there and the sycamore in front of it. Definitely got those dead and dying leaf look about them. And I think if I give this a shake, we're going to have leaves all falling everywhere. Whereas the one beside it is still very much green, which is always the strange thing about this time of year. Everything affected differently. Absolutely love the colours of autumn. Have a look at this Gingko. And again, you could do some pruning on your Gingko now if you want, but I tend to do them in spring. And let's just have a little chance to enjoy how these maples are all looking in their fine autumn colours. And interestingly, there we've got the beech. Those leaves will stay on through the winter, and the whole idea is it protects the juvenile buds from next year. Same beech, different colour. Absolutely amazing how they react differently. The railway planting, that is always a sea of autumnal colour at the moment. All the maples in the middle there. Such a sea of beautiful vibrant colour. The rest of the nursery is starting to look very, very, I don't know what the word is. And the last one we're going to do is this silver birch grouping, and this is inspired by a photograph taken by Tony of Tony's Bonsai, God rest his soul. And I've had a look around, the wire on it looking fine. The nice thing is if you look around here, you see buds from here, 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 here. In fact, they're actually leafing out, which is a shame because it means they're going to get killed off. But all around here we've got buds and buds. So all I'm going to just do is, we know there's going to be lots of little bud points back here. Leave that for now, but up here, we'll just take that right back. Could I do this in spring? Yes, of course I could. These don't particularly bleed a lot, but it's always nice to see how it's looking. So we'll cut those right back. Just going to cut that right back. And really all I'm doing there is just bringing it back in. I need to have a look at the picture. I'll have a look at that in spring and we'll do another little update on it then, and we'll see if we can bring it a lot closer in and grow some of those upper branches that we're going to need. I do need to watch for wire scarring, so I'm going to keep an eye on it over the next few weeks. It's not beyond the realm of possibilities that that actually doesn't dig in, as I say, because there's still growth taking place down here. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the update. There's loads more to come from the garden, and one thing I'm going to do is apologise. I had intended to do a lot with trident maples. I had intended to do a lot with quite a number of the trees over the last few weeks. You all know I had my toenail operation done, and to be fair, it's still exposed, so to speak, if it can be exposed on air, and I'm not going to show it to you either. And it's just meant that I haven't been able to get out there and do anything. I couldn't get it wet, so that's probably one of the reasons why you're getting a lot more detailed update videos. Hope you don't mind, I hope you understand, and rest assured, lots of plans for 2024, but you hear about them in December. Anyway, from Xavier, wishing you all the best, happy bonsaiing, God bless, cheers.